Hello and welcome to another Bearded Geek toy review. In today's episode we're looking at some more Star Wars retro collection. Trouble is, where the hell am I going to put them now? Stay tuned. Welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we have the latest in the Star Wars retro collection, which are the reproduction Kenner figures produced by Hasbro based on the original designs of the Star Wars figures as they first appeared in 1978. Now, the retro collection started it off in 2019, where they did 6 of the original 12 figures, which are on display in my geeky room, of which I'll just show you the footage of that right now. The first retro collection wave was based on 6 of the original 12 Kenner figures that were produced in 1978. They consisted of Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia Organa, Han Solo, Chewbacca, a Stormtrooper, and Darth Vader. Kenner Hasbro also produced Grand Moff Tarkin, who had never been part of the original lineup, as a special edition. So when those 6 were released, it was kind of like expected that we would then get probably the next, 6 figures in the wave. And we didn't do. Hasbro decided, for whatever reason, probably to do with the impending 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back in 2020, that they would move straight to Empire Strikes Back figures. And obviously that disappointed quite a few of the fans who had started to collect this line. They then bizarrely moved on to the Mandalorian, and they did 2 waves of figures from that. And then they moved on to Obi-Wan Kenobi, obviously promoting the Disney Plus series. And then earlier this year we got the retro collection of Return of the Jedi, 6 figures from that, obviously celebrating this year's 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi being released. And there are another 6 figures that are coming out, which I think are out in America already. I've seen pictures of them in the Disney parks. And they come with 5 of the previously released Kenner figures, and plus a brand new one, which is Mon Mothma, which Kenner never did originally. So that comes in a pack similar to that. I haven't got that ordered because it's a Hasbro Pulse exclusive for the UK and Europe, and it's sold out currently. So if obviously, hopefully, when they do put it back up for reorder, I will, place my order and get those figures. So I placed the order for this, I think, way back in around about April when it was first released. It was promised to me in August, and then Hasbro just kept putting the release date back further and further. I know obviously a lot of people from the initial orders and the first batches, they got theirs around about September time, but this wasn't delivered until last week. Which is ironic, really, because when we went on holiday to Walt Disney World in Florida, all the Star Wars merchandise shops in Disney Hollywood Studios and the other Disney shops dotted around Walt Disney World, they had loads of these. So I was very tempted to pick it up whilst I was out there. But again, the size of the package and the box, and the fact that obviously it wasn't quite as cost effective from an exchange rate point of view, because they marked it up to be in the Disney theme parks, I decided against it because I knew I had this on order with Hasbro Pulse. So anyway, here is the packaging. So this is kind of like fairly new, and it's based on the packaging when they re-released the first 6 figures in a box like this, which they did late last year for those who missed out on the original initial release in 2019. Obviously it has the retro collection sticker. You've got the figures there, and they make a selling point of the fact that 3PO and R2 have the VAC metallized finish to them, because previously, whenever Hasbro were asked, why are you not doing C-3PO and R2-D2 in the retro collection, their default response was always, well, we can't do vac metallization anymore, it's far too expensive to produce. So that's ironic that they've now done it and they've bowed to fan demand, because this set is a lot cheaper than previous retro collection sets. This was £70.99, so which works out at just, I think, about is that just £12 a figure, which is down from the price rise that they did for Boba Fett and Obi-Wan waves, where they upped it to £15 a figure. So at least they've kind of like reduced it a little bit. There's some nice images of the characters there. You've got the lovely original Star Wars logo on the side. On the back, you've got exactly the same image there. And then underneath, you've got all the usual safety bump. So let's open the box and get the figures out. And we'll also do a comparison with my original Star Wars figures that I've got from 1978. So I've only opened one end of the box because that's really all that you need, and obviously let's just take out some more safety information. Again, waste of bloody paper from Hasbro. You know, they go on about saving the planet, but they keep putting stuff like that on there when it's already bloody written on there. Anyway, that's my rant over. So let's take these figures out, and I can see straight away that these figures are, for the first time, unpunched. So that's going to pose a bit of a dilemma from a display point of view. And the sun, rightly or wrongly, has just come right in and given us a bit of a brighter thing there. So there you go. There's the Tusken Raider. I remember he was originally labelled as Sand Person in brackets Tusken Raider, or it was the other way round. I'd have to have a look at one of my books on the original Kenner range to confirm that. But look, there you go, that original stark image of the Tusken Raider there. Absolutely brilliant. That's actually Stunter Ranger Peter Diamond under that costume. He was the one who obviously did the famous, raise of the gaffer stick and tried to knock 6 bells out of Luke Skywalker in that classic scene. There's not much to really say about the usual back. Again, absolute waste, considering how good Hasbro have done the back of the cards for, the retro Marvel Legends that they did, and also the recent Indiana Jones retro figures, where they had actually pictures of the figures. Come on, put something more interesting on the back. It's lame and it's dull and it's boring. We don't want to see that. But yeah, there you go. There's the Tusken Raider there, so you can see him in all his glory. And lo and behold, I have an actual Tusken Raider there who is looking a little bit worse for wear, but he is well over 40 years old, 45 years old, this figure. So obviously his silver paint on his face there has kind of like worn away over time. There's some yellowing on the front of the figure. I mean, I have got the gaffer stick somewhere, but I just didn't fish that out of where I store my old figures. So there you have it. They is the original Tusken Raider compared to the brand new retro collection one, and it holds up pretty well. I think that looks really, really good. Again, what they've done is they don't have the original molds for these anymore. They will just do 3D scans of the original figures, and then they'll cast the molds out of that. So that looks fairly detailed and accurate to how the original figure was. So we'll put him over there. Let's get the next one out. Oh, here we have Ben Obi-Wan Kenobi, which bizarrely always used to puzzle me as a kid. Why he had a yellow lightsaber on the packaging, because obviously he never did come with a yellow lightsaber. So, yeah, let's have a look at him. Yeah, he's looking fairly accurate to how he was. Obviously, he's got the telescopic lightsaber, which the initial figures had. Luke Skywalker, Ben Kenobi, and Darth Vader all had those in that first 12 wave, and then after that, the next figure that they did with a lightsaber was Bespin Luke from Empire Strikes Back, and he then had a separate lightsaber, which again, bizarrely, was yellow. Well, there you go. Again, not really much interest on the back of that, but that lovely image there of Alec Guinness, absolutely brilliant. And let's have a look. Hey, here he is. Here's my original Ben Kenobi figure. Obviously, the vinyl cape's a bit worn and ripped, you know, because, yeah, you know, I played with these figures like every single day as a kid. So, you know, there is some ripping there. I've always meant to try and get some reproduction vinyl capes, but even those kind of like go for quite a bit of money on eBay. I do have a reproduction lightsaber though in his thing, which is one of the things that I got from Stan Solo on one of my orders. He put a little box of accessories in on one of the orders, so that was cool. So that's the because my original lightsaber for him was lost a long time ago. So there you go. There's this telescopic lightsaber. And just as a comparison, I'm not actually sure whether that's going to look... Is that about the same length or slightly longer? Yeah. Okay. It's about the same length there, I think. So, but yeah. Great detail. Obviously looks as good as it can do of the original figure. I think there's a bit more... the face is a bit larger on this version, on the reproduction. But you don't lose any kind of detail there. It still looks like the original figure. So there's Ben Kenobi. Next, we've got the Death Squad Commander, which was the original... name for this guy. In subsequent reissues, when he was reissued later on in the series on Star Wars card back, and then in Empire and Jedi card back, he was then renamed to Death Star Commander. But this is his original title, Death Squad Commander, because I think they kind of like, I don't know whether they got some complaints about him being called Death Squad Commander. But yeah, they renamed him as Death Star Commander later on when he was reissued later. And here's the original guy. Obviously, again, it's fairly good detail. What's interesting there is he doesn't have the black strap underneath his chin. Okay. Because that black strap was... Is that painted on by me? Did I do that? Oh, wow. I wonder if I did that as a custom. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Okay. Just going to have a quick look at some images of this figure to see if that's me with a marker pen as a kid, as a like 5 or 6 year old, going, that's not screen accurate. Where's his chin strap? And then drawing it on in felt tip pen. Yeah, okay, I'll be back with you in a second. Well, blimey, 2 things I've just learned from that. Yes, that's me being a little git and customising one of my earliest action figures by drawing a chin strap on the original figure. So he never came with that. I know, I would never have twigged that. Wow. And also, I got it wrong. He wasn't renamed as Death Star Commander. in later reissues. He was actually renamed as Star Destroyer Commander, apparently for Empire Strikes Back carded versions onwards. So yeah, so they did rename him, but they renamed him as Star Destroyer Commander instead. But yeah, wow. A very early custom job from me there. A bit handy with the marker pen. But besides that, yeah, still spot on. Very, very good reproduction of the figure. Again, obviously mine's like silver paint worn away there, just from like the sheer play from, you know, playing with this figure as a kid. Okay, so there goes the Death Squad Commander. We'll put him over there. We'll put him down there. Oh, who are we going to get out next? Oh, okay. Oh, C-3PO. Yay. Again, a beautiful image of him in the Death Star communications room. Stupidly covered up with this bloody retro collection sticker, which I will be removing. And just look at him in his vac metalized glory there. That is absolutely fantastic. Obviously, I'm filming this in like kind of like natural daylight to get that obviously look as much as possible. Now, again, I'm not going to dwell on the back. It's the same as it is on all the others. But yeah, that's wonderful to finally have a proper vac metalized C-3PO in the retro collection. 2 rants are coming up now. One, why do we not get vac metalized Black Series 3POs? Because he would look absolutely fantastic done in that style, and he would be absolutely more screen accurate than that horrible kind of coppery kind of gold colour that they paint current C-3PO figures in. So that's my rant as a Black Series collector. Come on, Hasbro, get a 6-inch 3PO figure out, vac metalized. He would look absolutely fantastic. Now, second rant is, which version is this done in? Because I have a suspicion here. I have 2 3POs from my original figures. This one is the original one. He's a very, very, very loose, because these figures got very, very loose with their limbs. Certainly the droids did anyway. And I'm surprised he's in as good condition as he is, because my Death Star droid is quite kind of like worn, and some of the vac metalization, the silver paint has actually come off that one. Which might be the reason why I've got 2 of those, because I've actually got 2 of those in my collection. So that's the original issue. This was the one that was issued in 1978. And if you look at that there, is that the same figure? I don't think it is, because if you can look at that close comparison, you can see 3PO is a lot wider in various aspects of the figure. Now, some of that might be down to the 3D scanning of the original figure, and obviously, you know, these figures are slightly minimalistic, larger than the original issues. But I suspect what they have done is they've taken this 3PO, which is the Empire Strikes Back version, which comes with the removable limbs, and they've scanned this one instead, because if you look at that, he is virtually the same kind of size, and he's got that more of a stockiness to him. So I think they've not scanned the original 78 version of the figure, they've done the Empire Strikes Back version. Bit of a gripe, but obviously I'm not going to be opening this. I'd be interested to see if like other people have opened this, and whether they've then tried to take out the limbs, and to see whether or not it is that version. But I suspect that it is, because he looks a little bit stockier. Now, interestingly, my Empire Strikes Back version of 3PO shows more wear on the vac metalization than what my original one does. So you can actually see the original brown plastic that he was cast in before he was then given the gold paint in a vac metalization way. You can actually see that underneath there that it's actually worn away in some areas. So yeah, there you go. There's my 2 3POs, and there's the retro collection C3PX. We've got 2 more figures to go, and wait, it's the Jawa. Now, famously, this guy was reissued twice. Originally, he came with a vinyl cape, and then he was reissued with the cloth cape because a lot of parents, apparently, because of the size of the figure, said, look, we're paying like the same price for that figure, give us a bit more value. And Kenner at the time decided to do the cloth cape version of the Jawa, which is what I've got here. Then this is my original one. Never had the vinyl version, because if it did, he'd be worth quite a lot of money. He goes for a ridiculous sum. But again, obviously I can't open that up, and I'm not going to open that up and show you, obviously, if it's a reproduction underneath. But I'm pretty sure this version will be. Let's just take his cloth cape off and show you the actual figure underneath. So he was fully sculpted, with like the bandoliers across there, and obviously he had the vinyl cape on. So I can see obviously why Kenner at the time probably went, you know what, yeah, let's add a bit of extra value and let's make him a bit more Jawa-like. But yeah, that's the original from 78 or 79, depending on when I got these figures. Let's just pull that back on there. Be very, very careful, because this is like 40-year-old plus figure. And I'm surprised that the cloth's holding up as good as it has done. Hey, there you go. There he is. So there you go. There's a comparison there. That's probably as accurate as you're going to get for a Jawa. Interestingly, the cloth cape looks like it's a fairly good reproduction of the original cloth cape. But yeah, upon closer detail, if you took it out, there might be a different kind of texture to the cloth or something like that. But there you go. That's the Jawa. Great to see him finally in the retro collection. And last but not least, you see he's in here somewhere. It's going to be R2-D2. Amazing. Again, a brilliant image. One thing that I think Kenner got really right with these first wave of figures was the images that they used. That's R2-D2, obviously from the closing ceremony at the end of the film. And again, look at that figure. That just brings back proper nostalgic vibes there. And you know what? As a kid, it never bothered me that he's kind of like, his face never looked exactly like it did. We just accepted it as kids back then. Obviously, these days you'd have adult collectors going, well, it's not representative of the real figure. It doesn't look screen accurate. But that's obviously your cynicism as you become like older. But as a kid, we just absolutely bloody loved these figures and this range. And interestingly, R2-D2, and I've probably told this story already in probably one of the other reviews that I've done on my original collection. R2-D2 was one of the 2 original figures that was given to me when I first started collecting this range as a kid. I was given R2-D2 and a Stormtrooper. I don't know why, I can't remember the reasons, but those were the first 2 figures that were ever bought for me. Now, in regards to the original R2-D2, I do have one, and unfortunately, or fortunately, he's in fairly good nick, but he is the Empire Strikes Back version, because he has the stereoscope that comes out there. Now, you're saying, hold on, I thought you first got this figure back in 1978. Well, I did. I got an R2-D2 back in 1978. But I don't know where my original R2-D2 went. And I know he was absolutely in the worst condition ever. His sticker had come off completely, you know, through play. The VAT metallization had completely more or less gone. And I suspect what I did is I probably threw him out because he looked crap. Which is a huge shame, really. But he still does the clicking. This version still does the clicking. And I believe the Retro Collection one still does the clicking as well. So, lovely reproduction of the sticker there in a slightly different shade of blue. But that's really, really cool. Obviously, it looks a little bit more detailed, but that's just, I think, obviously time and then reproducing the image. But yeah, there's R2-D2 for you, and a comparison of one of the early original Kenner R2-D2s. So there you have it, the second 6 of the original 12 as reproduced by Hasbro as part of the Star Wars Retro Collection. I really do hope that they will continue to redo the original figures, because I just think they look absolutely brilliant on cardback. Yes, the bloody great big sticker is an absolute issue. I still hate it. I'm still not keen on the whole like weathering, fake weathering that they have around the cards, but that I can kind of like live with. Just get rid of that bloody Retro Collection sticker, because, you know, given what you've put on the back of the card backs, you know, which is virtually nothing, no one, you know, is ever gonna confuse these for the original, you know, and say, oh, that's a carded R2-D2 figure there from 1978. I'm gonna pay £2,000 for it, because obviously, you know, you can tell it's a reproduction. It doesn't need that great big ass sticker on there. But there you go. They're great to have in the collection. And now, the big question is, because these cards are unpunched, what am I going to do for display? And before we wrap up the video, just a quick look at the Star Wars t-shirt that I am wearing for the introduction of this video. And this was purchased at Walt Disney World in Orlando, and as you can see, it's very Kenner based. It's got the original 12 figures there, vintage action figures. These are not the toys you're looking for, which is what Obi-Wan is saying there. Collect them all. So that's the front of the t-shirt. But what you've also got on the back of the t-shirt is the Star Wars 45th anniversary logo, which is based on the original Ralph McQuarrie poster concept of showing Luke Skywalker there. And then you've got a nice little montage again of the original first 12 Kenner figures. Darth Vader saying, I am your father. Luke's a bit baffled at that comment. Han Solo saying, move along. So that's the back of the t-shirt. But then also right at the bottom, here you go. You've got a little kind of Easter egg there of a little mail away that Kenner used to put in there for you sending off for extra figures. So that's a nice little touch that they've put on there. Now, as we've found out, these cards are unpunched, and that's the big quandary, because I have these figures displayed like that, and obviously they've never come in these kind of packs before. And as you can see, they're obviously, when you used to buy them in a previous set, even though they used to come in like, you know, Hasbro packaging, they were always unpunched. So the quandary is, how do I display these other 6 figures of the original 12? So that's going to be something that obviously I'm going to have to think about. Do I punch through and essentially have the cards punched, or do I leave them unpunched and look at other display options? well, I don't know. I'll probably update you in another video once we talk about the next release of the retro collection, which is the Book of Boba Fett. Not going to get the full wave of that. I'm probably going to look at just picking up the odd figure from that, because a lot of them are kind of like continuing and doing the same thing. For instance, he's got another Mando in there, which I think is essentially the same version of that. So, you know, what's pointless of picking that version up? No, but yeah, so I will update you in another video, but there you go. Well, thank you very much for watching. Thank you everybody who subscribed, everybody who's sharing the videos, and let's get to that 1,000 mark brilliantly. I'm waffling now. Next couple of videos are going to be Doctor Who themed, because obviously it's the 1st of November that I'm recording this today, and essentially we're into the 60th anniversary month of the show. So I'm going to be doing a few retrospective videos for Doctor Who. Hopefully if I can track down some of the new B&M merchandise, I might be doing a video on that, but they've not hit stores yet. But I'm going to do a review on my current Doctor Who collection, so stay tuned for that. So all it means to say is take care, stay safe, and we'll see you very, very soon on Bearded Geek Toy Reviews. See you later.
Escape pod landing. Where am I?
It's the new Star Wars Land of the Jawas that you put together. Action figures sold separately. You can move the action lever and make the Jawa capture R2-D2.
R2, are you all right? What are they doing to you?
You can raise the elevator and make R2-D2 disappear into the sandcrawler.
Hang on, R2. I'm right behind you. Me too.